our goal today, boys and girls, is that you are going to compare and contrast two fables to develop a theme. You're going to compare and contrast the different themes, excuse me. So right now in front of you, you should have a blank template, a box and a bullet template that shows you how you're going to develop your thesis. Now, all the other essays that you have written, you have been arguing that maybe a character is a certain way, that the theme of the story is a certain story. You've been arguing your different points. I'm only requiring for this essay that you have an intro, 2 supporting paragraphs, and a conclusion. It does not have to be 5 paragraphs. I have some people who are writing 6-paragraph essays. If you feel like you want to challenge yourself and you want to have 4 supporting paragraphs and you know how to do the structure of that, then that's fine. But the minimal I'm requiring is that you have 2 supporting paragraphs. Okay, when we compare and contrast, let's focus on that a little bit. We have been told since we were young, when you compare something, you do what? And when you contrast, you do what? Tell somebody next to you. What's the difference between comparing and contrasting?
One of the things you hate on and
Compare 2 different things.
Oh, what's contrasting?
Yeah.
Penguins.
It's a contrast that.
Stop arguing.
All right. What does comparing mean? When you compare, you tell the
Same thing.
Please raise your hand. When you compare, you tell the
Similar thing.
similar things. When you contrast, you tell the
Different.
thank you, differences. So what you are going to do is you are going to have a whole new paper. This is the title of your paper. It is a compare and contrast argumentative theme-based essay. We're going to look at, just wait on that for just a second, honey. We're going to look at 2 stories and you are going to compare and contrast them. All right? You're going to compare and contrast thinking deeper. I don't want you to tell me, because these are your stories, the richer, the poor, the ant and the grasshopper. You're not going to say in one story that, in one story they have make-believe people like bugs. And in the other story they have real people in the story. Is that a really deep thinking compare and contrast? No. Anybody can recognize those differences. I want you to use our strategies, how we've been talking about thinking deeper about the theme and how are they similar, how are they different. I recognize you haven't read these stories yet, but we're going to talk about that here in a minute. While you're reading, it is important. It's going to take, we're going to read this in just a minute, these 2 stories, but what I want you to think about is what kind of structure do I want to have when I'm writing my essays. Here is an example of one thesis statement. You could say that don't write this down yet because you don't know which one you want to use. The theme is similar and different. And then your first paragraph would be about the story, the richer or the poor. The second paragraph would be about the ant and the grasshopper. So in short, what that thesis statement would say is the 2 fables share a common theme. How you live for the now will affect your future. This theme is similar and different in the richer and the poor, the ant and the grasshopper. Another type of structure you could do is you could have your supporting paragraphs be one of the supporting paragraphs tells me all about how they're similar, and the next one is how they're all different. And your claim would be that the theme is in both of the fables. So the theme of how you live life for now will affect the future is shown in the fables, the richer, the poorer, the ant and the grasshopper. They show them in similar and different ways. All right? So this is the theme that I am suggesting for those of you who have a hard time finding the theme in both stories, you can use mine. There are other themes. So basically this highlighted part, you can change to make your own theme. Some kids, after they read The Richer, the Poor, they realized that they wanted the theme of how you treat others affects your life. They said how you live life to the fullest depends on the person. You might come up with a different theme. And to be honest with you, it would be wonderful if I had my students come up with a different theme. I'm going to be reading about 110 of these papers. And if every single one of you picked out the same theme, it might get a little, monotonous, okay? Remember when I showed you the Dancing with the Stars, where Mario and Luigi, they were dancing together. Sadie Robertson was dancing. And remember what the judges said? They said, wow, that was astounding. That is something I will never forget. You want to write papers that you won't, your teacher, not just your teacher, but other readers won't forget. So think about that. You may use my templates. You can use this one or you can use this one. That's fine. All right? But you're really focusing on the theme and how the theme is similar and different in both of these stories. So in a moment, you are going to have one of these papers, which is the richer or the poorer, and you can mark it up whatever you want to do. As you're listening to the story, we're going to listen to the ant and the grasshopper and then the richer or the poor. They're really short. I want you to maybe make stars where you notice that this supports your claim. How you live for now affects the future. Maybe circle things that you want to use as a quote. Remember, you have to have quotes to prove your point. So if you find those as you're reading, go ahead and star them. Or maybe write in your notebook a theme that you notice different than what Mrs. Dildine said or the other students have said in her class, okay? So right now I want you to go ahead and head back to your seat because we're going to listen to the story. And then we will talk more about the paper.